Hello everyone, welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at The Giver, Chapter 18. Now, in this chapter, it starts with Jonas still thinking about this idea of release. And he asks the Giver, Giver, do you ever think about release? And the Giver's like, well, do you mean like getting released or just thinking about release in general? And Jonas is like, I'm sorry, I guess I don't know. I don't know what I mean, but just do you ever think about it? And then Jonas and the Giver just start talking a little bit about release and, the Giver says, yeah, I think about it sometimes, like maybe after you become the full receiver of memories, maybe I could go for release after that or something. And then Jonas kind of asks about the other trainer 10 years ago and the one that ended up as a failure. And the Giver kind of talks a little bit about it, but Jonas says, could you please tell me the story? I don't know about it. Who is this girl and what was her name? And the Giver starts to share. Her name was Rosemary. The Giver loved her, probably like a daughter. And after 5 weeks, she ended up asking for release. Jonas, it's been 10 months, almost a year of training. But for the other girl, Rosemary, it was only 5 weeks. And the Giver gave her a lot of great memories. But eventually, just like Jonas, she was like, okay, give me the harder stuff. I know you're holding back. Give me the tougher stuff. And the Giver couldn't give her any physical pain. He just couldn't do it. But he gave her some emotional pain, loneliness, hunger, terror, things like that. And slowly, Rosemary changed from being happy and laughing to being really cold and distant. Until finally one day, the Giver was going to give her one last memory to kind of be a happy memory for the end. But she kind of didn't want it, and she just kind of hugged the Giver, and she said, I can't remember exactly the quote, but something like, thank you, I love you, bye. And she left. And that was the last time the Giver saw her. She immediately left, went to the great elder, whoever, head elder, and applied for release. They gave her release, and she was gone. They didn't even ask the Giver. They didn't even tell her to think about it for a while. They just like, oh, you want to apply for release? Okay. And then she went elsewhere. When she went elsewhere, though, the memories she had went back into the community, and there was all sorts of chaos. And the Giver was so sad and so angry that he couldn't help the community deal with their emotions because he was dealing with such strong emotions. And so they just kind of had to deal with it themselves. And it was a really, really bad situation, bad time. And, Jonas asks more questions, and he's trying to understand things. And the Giver says, or I think Jonas is like, hey, what if I left? What if I died? What would have happened? What if I got released or went elsewhere? What would happen to the memories? And the Giver says, the memories are forever. They will stay with us, and they will go back into the community. And, for Rosemary, it was only 5 weeks, and it was really terrible. For you, it's been 10 months, 12 months, 11 months. It'd be crazy. We'd use a word here, catastrophic. Catastrophic means very serious and a lot of damage. It'd be catastrophic if something happened to you, Jonas, because those memories are forever, and they would find their way back into the community. And I think Jonas kind of asked a little bit more, and the Giver's like, you know what? Let me think about this idea. You give me some interesting things to think about, but let's continue your training. And they continued on. Vocabulary. Dejected is like sad or just kind of like not in a good way. You can think of the word rejected, right? Someone saying no. Often when you're rejected, you feel dejected. This kind of sadness and this kind of low self-esteem. Ruefully, Ruefully is kind of like with regret or kind of apologetic, like you're sorry to kind of say it or do it. Luminous means glowing or shining, and Rosemary had these luminous eyes. They're just shining because she wanted to learn. Faltered is like the kind of you want to say something. Rosemary was so smart, right? His voice kind of stops or stutters. It falters. It wavers. It struggles to continue. Imploring is like asking with deep passion, but you could ask like imploringly, please, with your eyes. Maybe your sister, brother, younger sister asks you imploringly, help me with my homework, right? With great need and seriousness. And discussion question for you. If you were Jonas or the giver, right? If you were the giver of memories, the receiver of memories, whichever one, or if you were Rosemary even, would you request release? Would you like to go elsewhere? Or would you choose to continue being the receiver of memories or the giver, right? In this case, would you choose to be to stay in that role, or would you decide to go elsewhere and be released? Of course, please write down your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.